Welcome to the Oasis. My name is Mike, and today we're going to be doing another session of Ask Mike Anything. But this time we're doing something a little bit different, and that is that we're filming it with a VR180 camera, specifically the Lenovo Mirage 180 camera. So this is a little bit new to me. I've never done anything like this before, so hopefully it turns out okay. I'd love to know your feedback in the comments down below, whether you got it working or not. You should just be able to watch this on YouTube, as it's a kind of VR video, and if you're not got a VR headset, then you should just be able to scroll around, sort of look around the environment a little bit, but still see me and hear me clearly. So hopefully it works out okay, fingers crossed. So as you probably know, if you followed the channel for a little while, every month I do a session with you guys called Ask Mike Anything, and a week before I put out a little post saying, hey, ask me any question you want. I take as many questions as I can and answer the best ones on camera for you guys and girls. So let's kick off today's Ask Mike Anything, and I hope you guys and girls enjoy this one. So first up, question from Andreas Aronson. What is your impression on VR legs? Do they exist? Have you grown some? Are you used to smooth locomotion? Your general impressions from friends and family? Do you have a pet? And what's your favourite cake? Okay, so let's get into it. What are your impressions of VR legs? VR legs is certainly a thing. It's kind of one of those things that if you're a newcomer to VR and you're using smooth locomotion for the first time, as if you would do traditionally in any normal first-person game on PC where you just kind of slide around or strafe, then when you do that in VR, it can really cause a disconnect with your brain and your physical movement, because you're not actually moving, but your brain is convinced you are, and that causes a bit of a disconnect and then causes motion sickness. Now, this is kind of one of those things that people experience for the first few times in VR, and I've said it before on previous episodes of the show, is not to push yourself too hard. If you're feeling nauseous, then take a break, but over a period of time you do develop these VR legs, which tends to make things a little bit more comfortable. Every now and again something will throw you off, but it's normally due to the frame rate of the game itself. But yeah, you can grow VR legs, it is a thing. Over time you will get better with it for sure. Have I grown some? Yeah, absolutely, and it takes a lot nowadays to make me feel sick, put it that way, and I used to be very susceptible back in the early days of VR, put it that way. Impressions from friends and family are good, although they're not really converted yet. Do I have a pet? Yes, I have a little hamster called Jess. Thanks for your questions, Andreas. So, question from Nathy. If you could pick up one power-up from the Ready Player One universe, what would it be and why? Good question indeed. I would love to have the ability to carry a DeLorean in my pocket, just like Parzival does. You know, you just roll up, you take it out your pocket, you throw it on the floor, and then your DeLorean transforms into a full-fledged car that you can just hop into and drive away, or fly away even, as it's a DeLorean. So yeah, that would be the one that I would certainly choose. Let me know in the comments down below what your power-up from Ready Player One would be. I'd love to know. So next question from Rev. Have you done any frame roam hyper reality VR experience? Any recommendations? Yes, absolutely. I actually tried out Star Wars Secrets of the Empire, which was the Void experience. I actually got to try out this experience with John from the SciTech team that makes Windlands. He was the one that kind of convinced me to go and check it out, and we actually went and checked it out together, and we had an absolute blast. I would recommend anyone who is interested in VR or a fan of VR to go and try out the Void if there is one near you. I know they're sort of far and few between. There's only a couple in the States, and there's only one in London right now. But I'm also looking forward to next week going to London to check out the Mario Kart VR GP experience, and I'll obviously be taking you guys with me so I can show you what the experience is all about. So yes, definitely check out the Void. I'd love to check out more such as Ghostbusters as well. I haven't checked that one out, but yeah, I really enjoyed that experience. I thought it was very immersive. Seeing your friends dressed up as a Star Trooper and be able to give them a physical high five and touch the environments as you're traversing around them was really next level. I would totally recommend it. So, next question, Captain Joe. What would your ultimate setup be? Headset, haptic suit, walkway? So we don't know for definite right now what all these things are actually going to be like in the full consumer release, but based on the sort of specs alone, I would go with the Pimax headset right now, the Pimax 8K. If that can truly deliver on what it promises, then that's going to be a next-gen headset. Then I would go for the Tesla suit, which is a suit actually in development right now that incorporates haptic feedback in terms of touch, heat and those kind of effects. So that would be my suit. And then in terms of treadmill, I would go with the Infinideck or the Cat VR treadmill, one of the two. And they're really sort of showing that treadmills are going to be the future of VR. Whether it will or not will be another thing. I haven't actually tried one myself, but I would love to try one out. So yeah, it would be the Pimax, the Tesla suit, the Catwalk, or the Infinideck for my treadmill. So I hope that answers your question. Next up, from German Rifter VR, a fellow VR YouTube creator, what was the most scary moment game experience in VR? I have to say, it was the one I did recently, which was the one in Face Your Fears with the spiders. I was absolutely terrified, and I don't normally get that scared in VR because, you know it's not real. I experience a lot of VR experiences, but I think it's because I am truly terrified of spiders in real life that experience had them crawling on my face and they were surrounding me in 360. So the whole thing was very well done by Turtle Rock. Hats off to them for making such a polished and immersive experience. And yeah, I was truly terrified. If you want to see me really, really scared in VR, I would recommend you go and check out that video as soon as this one finishes, of course. Next up, Damien Smith. Are you reviewing that VR180 camera? Have you tried long sessions in 4K with it yet? Funnily enough, Damien, I'm testing it right now. So fingers crossed that this works and it works well and that it doesn't overheat and ruin all this hard work that I'm putting into it right now. But I'm sure I'll let you know in the comments down below at the end of this video. Ren. So a question from Ren. What are your expectations on the Oculus Santa Cruz? Well, I have to say, when I first saw the Santa Cruz and Oculus Go at Oculus Connect 4 last year in San Jose, I was kind of a bit, I kind of understood the market that they're aiming for, which was the general consumer market at a lower price, so you don't need a high-powered PC to run this sort of VR experience. And I was kind of a bit, I wasn't that interested, put it that way. Have to say, since trying the Go, I absolutely love that headset. I think it's so accessible, it's convenient to use, the resolution is great, the screen is great, it's got tons of apps and experiences to check out, and you can travel around with it and share the magic of VR with your friends and family. So it's kind of converted me and changed my mindset a little bit, and now I'm more convinced about Santa Cruz being a success, because I think Santa Cruz, with the more horsepower it's going to have to deliver sort of 6 degrees of freedom experiences with the 2 fully tracked controllers, I'm actually really excited about that. And the idea of having a portable version of Beat Saber, for example, and taking that to a friend's house and trying it out all together, well, that's going to be a great experience. I just hope that there is a way to mirror the view in a way that not only us as content creators can capture that view, but also that we can share with friends and family exactly what we're seeing in the headset if we're sort of sharing it amongst ourselves and sort of aiming for the high score, for example. It would be really great to get the other people that are not in VR involved in the experience so they can see how the player in VR is doing. So that's my hopes and dreams. Let's see at Oculus Connect 5 if they can deliver that. Now, I will be at Oculus Connect 5, so I'll be giving you the freshest news straight from the show. So make sure you stay tuned and subscribe to the channel for that one. Okay, next up, William Heller. Still curious about what the deal is with Stirrumba VR Places. Just curious what it is exactly and if you think it will be successful. Also not sure if you've seen how they're trying to get funding. It's the first time I've seen anything like it, good or bad. Well, this is the kind of thing, there's a lot of VR companies right now that are trying to merge virtual reality with the blockchain. Now, blockchain in simple terms is like, the technology behind Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies such as that and Ethereum. And what they do is they use the computing power of the network of people mining to basically have a supercomputer that runs these experiences. And Stirrumba and some others are all kind of based on that technology. I know Terra Virtua do it as well, and Virtua Token. There's some other companies out there. Also Seeking VR is another one. The thing is with all these companies is it's so new, not only is VR so new, but also the blockchain technology is so new and cryptocurrency is also so new. So when you merge all of those things together, it makes something that's very sort of difficult to recommend right now because no one really knows what this space is. Now, if you've got some spare cash lying around, maybe like the original days of Bitcoin, it's worth investing some money, but I myself personally, I don't know, and I wouldn't make any recommendations for you. Now, I myself, I haven't invested any money in any VR sort of ICOs, but I have invested in cryptocurrency in the past, and it has proved successful for me, but you really have to sort of do your own research and draw your own conclusions. Is it exciting though? Absolutely. If they can nail the blockchain technology with virtual reality, then you never know. We could really have a true oasis in VR sooner than we think. So next up, question from PBB15. Considering VR is still in its early stages with a relatively small user base, what was your thought process behind starting a VR-focused channel? Well, it's a really good question, and the reason why I started a VR-focused channel was because none of my friends or family cared about VR, and I was just amazed by this wonderful new technology that I had discovered. And I really just wanted to kind of go to the rooftops and shout about it, but no one would listen to me, so I took to a platform that I knew maybe I would have an audience there, and I just started my virtual reality YouTube channel from there. And thankfully, you know, a lot of you guys and girls have been really interested in VR. Even people that haven't really got a headset but are kind of interested in the technology have followed the channel and sort of seen me grow over the last few months. So yeah, you know, that was my kind of incentive to do it, was kind of to spread the message and hopefully grow the VR industry as a whole, or at least help as much as I can to do that. And I'm going to continue to do that in the future. So yeah, hope that answers that question. Next question from Dizzy Spizzy. What have your favorite gaming experiences over the years outside of VR? It's so difficult to answer that question. It's so difficult to answer that question because, you know, I've been a gamer my whole life. You know, I've always been a gamer from, you know, having the original Game Boy, a Commodore 64, then an Amiga, then a SNES, then, you know, N64, Xbox, you know, PlayStation. I've had them all pretty much. But VR really has been the one that I've been the most passionate about. Now, in terms of sort of games and things I do outside of VR, I'm a big fan of the Nintendo Switch, and I play a lot of Nintendo games in my free time. And I also recently have been playing some Pancake PlayStation games, such as God of War and Detroit Becoming Human. I really enjoyed those games. I really love them. But yeah, VR really is where my heart is right now. So when I'm not recording and playing games in VR, the Nintendo games are kind of the ones that I gravitate to because they seem to be a bit more relaxed, and it's very, very different from everything else right now. Particularly right now, I'm enjoying Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. It's a really chilled out game, a really cool little puzzle game to enjoy when you just want to relax. 3 Elemental. Is there a game you know you won't play? Have you done a room tour? Are there any plans to do full VR game with subs? So just to answer the last one quickly, like I said just before, go to my Discord. Yeah, I will be playing with subscribers, definitely more in the future, so make sure you join the Discord for that one. In terms of a room setup, I did do one when I first moved to this loft space a little while ago. You can check it out on the channel. Maybe I'll put a link in the comments. And in terms of the first question, which is a game you know you won't play, absolutely. You know, Skyrim, as much as I admire that game, hats off to the developers, and also Fallout 4, for example, I just don't physically have the time to play those games in VR. You know, they're like 80 to 100 hour games, and I love that people feel so passionately about these games because they buy this one game, they spend their whole free time playing this game, get so immersed in the world and the environments, and they really love being in VR and experiencing it, and I love that. But for me, you know, I just don't have the time to invest all that time in a game like that. So yeah, it would be definitely Skyrim and Fallout 4 in VR are the 2 games that I definitely know I won't get a chance to play. Great question, by the way. Okay, next question is from Octavio. He asked, is it worth buying a VR-ready PC right now and a headset? Where I live, it's very expensive and VR tech is going really quick. Well, yeah, I think now is a great time to jump into VR. If you maybe don't have enough money to buy a PC VR headset and a PC, then maybe just go out and buy the Oculus Go right now. For $200, it's a fantastic headset and is a great first step into VR, especially if you've not really tried it before and you're not really sure about the technology. It would be a great way to experience it and find out. If not, I would say the Oculus Rift is a great deal right now. And buying a VR-ready PC, I know is really fairly expensive, but it's kind of investing in the future. You know, you can buy a PC now, that can be your foundation, and then as the VR industry grows and PC VR headsets get more powerful and more power hungry in terms of graphical power, then you can always upgrade your PC over time and sort of upgrade it that way. That's certainly what I've been doing. And the great thing about that is you can sell your old headset, you can sell your old graphics card, make a bit of money back, and then buy the latest one when they come out. So yeah, I would say right now is a perfect time to jump into VR. You should definitely check it out, and I would recommend you go and do that. So, next question from Phonics. Do you use a 3 or 4 sensor setup? Well, I used to use 4 sensors and now I use 3. I think 3 sensors, if you've got them set up in the right configuration, which is 2 up front and 1 at a slight angle behind you, then you can achieve flawless 360 tracking in a small environment. So I would say that 3 sensors will get you the best bang for your buck. If you really want to go overkill on it though, you could get a 4th sensor, but to be honest, I don't use a 4th sensor anymore, and I don't necessarily think it's worth the time and money. So next question from Ben George. How many VR headsets do you have and what is your favorite one? So I own the PSVR, the Gear VR, the Oculus Go and the Oculus Rift. So they're my sort of main headsets. In terms of my favorite, I would say the Oculus Rift is my favorite purely because that was my first PC VR headset and it kind of holds a special place in my heart for that reason, and it's probably the one that I use the most. So right now that's my favorite, but you know, that could change in the future. Who knows? Question from Mark S. Mike, how do I get rid of the black bars that show up on the sides of the Oculus mirror when I stream and record videos in OBS? Well, that's a very good question, and it is a problem that we faced as content creators since we started recording content with the Oculus Rift. Now, unfortunately, since those days, the Oculus Rift view has always been zoomed in and cropped, which is a stark contrast to when you record with the Vive. You get this nice, clear, open field of view that shows everything that you want to show your viewers. Now, me and Nathi have been in contact with Oculus about this. We've tried to work with them to resolve the problem, but unfortunately we didn't get a solution right now. Now, it is something that I feel very passionate about, and it is something that whenever I speak to Oculus, I always highlight the issue, and hopefully maybe one day they can fix it. Now, I know it's a problem for us. I know it's a problem for them as well, because even on the Oculus official Facebook streams, they have the edges cut off as well from OBS using the mirror. And I know that VR developers would want to use a better tool as well to capture their games for like trailers and highlight reels, for example, as well. So hopefully we can get it resolved. We just need to keep badgering Oculus, and hopefully they can spend some time solving the problem for us all. So I hope that answers the question. So final question from Logan. When do you think VR will be so mainstream that the common household will have as many VR headsets as they do TVs? Now, I think we're a long way away from this. I think probably it's going to take at least 5 years for us to get to that point right now. I think it's because the VR industry has been very slow in terms of its takeoff. Those that have tried it are obviously clearly very passionate about it, and we generally believe that this will be the future of entertainment, gaming, social interactions with people that are far away. And I think it will become mainstream as soon as the sort of killer app is out there to attract the mainstream people. But I do think it's probably going to take around 5 years for the technology to adapt, grow, and become small and cheap enough for the everyday consumer. I think the Oculus Go is a great first step, but I think we have a long way to go yet. So I hope that answers your question. So that is the end of the video. I hope you guys and girls have enjoyed this one. It's been a little bit different recording with the VR180 camera, so I hope it works out, and I hope you guys and girls enjoy this one. If you've got any questions or comments, then please chuck them down below. I'd love to know your thoughts, whether you like this new format or you just prefer that I stick with a normal camera. I'd love to know. So leave a like if you like the video, make sure you're subscribed for all my future content, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.